updates that's now coming in, and this is another controversy that has been triggered by New York's mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani. He was speaking at a Diwali event in Queens. He said, and I'm going to quote from what he said, I know I'm running to be mayor of New York City, and 8.5 million people, many of whom might feel differently than me about Mr. Modi, and that's their right, and I'm looking to represent them all the same, because my responsibility to them as New Yorkers is to ensure that they are safe. I've been critical of Modi because I grew up with a vision of an India where everyone belonged. Modi and the BJP have room only for certain kinds of Indians, and this is not the first time that Zohran Mamdani has criticized our Prime Minister. This is what he said in his latest critique. Listen in.
The vision that I grew up with was of an India that was pluralistic, an India where everyone belonged, no matter their religion. And my critique has been of Mr. Modi and the BJP political party for their vision of an India that only has room for certain kinds of India. And I also know that I'm running to be the mayor of New York City, 8.5 million people, many of whom may feel differently than me about Mr. Modi. And that's their right. And I will look to represent them all the same, because my responsibility is to them as New Yorkers, to ensure that they are safe.
So, Rishabh, Mr. Mamdani once again criticizing the Prime Minister. This time he says at a Diwali event that Prime Minister Modi and the BJP have room only for certain kinds of Indians. He has been criticized in the past for pushing a divisive kind of agenda. Hindu-American organizations have very strongly taken objection to the claims that he's made.
Well, Sagarika, one failed to understand that he is contesting for the mayor of New York. Mayor of New York is not going to be the counterpart of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He is at best equivalent to the Chief Minister of Delhi. Then he goes on to talk about Prime Minister Narendra Modi, someone whose KRA would be to ensure the life and things in New York. The real estate prices in New York are all-time high. That needs to be reined in. The density of population in certain pockets of New York is something that needs to be looked into. Immigration is a problem that they need to figure out how to get things back on track. Illegal immigration in New York is a menace for that matter. Many areas where illegal immigrants have actually become a menace and a law and order situation. Leaving all this aside, the only thing that we have heard from Mamdani in past 6 months is about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What is the reason? The reason is very clear. He wants to polarize these elections and ensure that the non-American Indian immigrant voters who are there vote on the lines of whether they like Prime Minister Narendra Modi or they don't like Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Whether they like Mamdani or not has been put on a back burner. And that is something that is a cause of concern, because this makes it easier for leaders anywhere in the world to deviate from the actual issues and go to certain foreign leader and start talking about that person. Right. And this criticism, comes without much of factual yes. If he's coming up with numbers, data, proofs, that is a different thing. He is not doing that as well. Going to a Diwali event where Prime Minister Narendra Modi was neither there in physically, or for that matter even on the posters anywhere. No one spoke about Prime Minister Narendra Modi here, and suddenly you hear the mayoral candidate going ahead and start talking about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What is the agenda? Agenda is very clear: to divide the votes and ensure that all the votes come his way, which does not have inclined toward the new regime or the new government in India, which has been in place for more than 1 decade now. So that is something that is ironical, but even worrisome, because this it will embolden other anti-India elements to use this tactics, and we have seen it in Canada, we have seen it in Europe many times, and now in US also. Things like this is happening. These needs to be reined in.
And like you mentioned, Rishabh, he made these comments at a Diwali event. Diwali, Indians across the world hold it very close to their heart. What was the reason to come up with this kind of political commentary? In the past too, there have been Hindu American organizations that have accused Mamdani of pushing a divisive agenda, of fanning some kind of, fear-mongering about India, about, the Prime Minister. And ahead of the mayoral election in New York, many believe that his comments are undermining the community's harmony in a city that is home to one of the largest Indian diasporas in the United States. So is this being done with a particular motive? So Mamdani claims that he is progressive, he is known for his left-leaning positions and also aggressive criticism of the BJP. But when it comes to mayoral elections, what stake does this kind of a critique have in New York?
Well, see, if we talk about New York and the polity of New York, New York is one of the most cosmopolitan state in the United States. They have the number of immigrant voters. I'm talking about the voters who have been there, have come into the United States generationally, or for that matter, they have been there for generations in New York. They all vote. Maximum of these immigrant voters are basically from the Indian origin. And now this whole debate around the politics of BJP here in India, many within US believe that it affects the Indian Americans there as well.
Kind of criticism and commentary at a Diwali event, once again talking about spreading a certain kind of narrative without any kind of fact, once again brings the track record of Mamdani into question. Thank you so much, Rishabh, for joining us on this broadcast.